I have a passion for what I do, and it's a passion for justice. Technology offers us a real chance at justice for the first time in the history of mankind.
Dr. Tyrone Taborn's passion for justice is fueled by his unprecedented commitment to young people and promoting significant achievements by minorities in technology, science, and engineering.
If we can get a young person to get fired up and excited about this science and this technology, the next issue is what? Getting them through the program. And many of them may not have the role models or the experience or the family history that can show them where the landmines are and how to successfully navigate an engineering career.
And that's the mission of Career Communications Group Incorporated, a media services company to help women and young people of color navigate the science and engineering battlefields through annual conferences, national publications, and internet websites.
The Career Communications Group name, well, what is a career? Where does it start? Well, Tyrone understands it starts at a very young age. Young people need role models. Young people need mentors. In many cases, they're not there. So he had the thought that we need to do something about technology awareness. And so technology awareness programs for black families, for Hispanic families, and now for Native American families. What is that all about? It's digital inclusion. It's using technology as a lever in education and other parts of family life.
Now you look at India, for instance, 24% of the high school graduates in India choose engineering as a study field to go on to. In China, 40% of the young people who are going on to college choose engineering as a study field. And you look at here in the United States, and we're getting 5% of the population choosing engineering. If we had more of the underrepresented minorities, both African American and Hispanics, and if we had more women selecting these fields, then we'd have a lot better chance of having a greater market share and then getting our population equity in terms of the relationship to China and India.
It's a real interesting phenomenon when you look at the way the world is globalizing. We are not losing the battle for some labor arbitrage scheme. In the short term, people go to India and China because it's cheaper. But in the long term, they're not going to go to India and China because it's cheaper. They're going to go to India and China because we don't have the talent. And it takes guys like Tyrone to really get out there and start thinking about this so that we're positioning ourselves for future generations. I think that's extremely important.
The vision for global diversity was born over 20 years ago in Ithaca, New York. It's where he started his publishing career and later met his wife and company CFO, Jean.
I had known of him before because he kept making a lot of loud protesting noises on campus with the bullhorn. And I always thought he was an annoying kid who wouldn't shut up about issues that I didn't particularly care about, but obviously he did.
Born in Chicago and reared in Los Angeles, Dr. Taborn was known for embracing issues such as the need for race and gender equality, pay equity, and full participation by minorities in the rapidly advancing world of technology. He believed the opportunities he would create would be opportunities for discovery.
At Career Communications Group, we tell that story. We tell that story of the successful Hispanic astronaut, of that inventor, of the developer, of women who are doing so much. And in doing so, we create dreams. We create the opportunity for young people who may not have positive role models to say, I too can achieve.
One of the things that Dr. Taborn has done for Park School is to send us on a regular basis information about opportunities for African American students in math and science and technology, but even more important than that, the accomplishments of African Americans in the math and science field. Because providing that information to our kids as role models for what they are able to do is a very powerful force in keeping kids involved and excited and motivated in their high school education.
Because of his vision and his passion and commitment towards this field of diversity and inclusion, he's been criticized and he's been attacked and he's been, you know, verbally challenged. And for most people, when put under that kind of fire, they fall into a mode of this let me survive, let me defend myself, and many times the vision changes. And for him, he's become even more vigilant when those type of things happen. His vision never falters, never fails.
When you have that foundation of integrity, I think moving forward, people want to do business with you, people want to interact with you, and people want to assist you when they can. When you look at the whole man of Dr. Taborn, business is very important to him, but in everything that he talks about, everything that he does, family comes first, his wife and his kids, and he makes those guys at the forefront of all activities.
He's a good leader, great leader, and that's something that I'm able to show. I think on the sports fields, how my dad really cares about other people every day, and that's something that rubs off on me when I learning about, you know, other cultures and watching out for, you know, people at my school who may not be treated as fairly or seriously as they should be.
He's a really good role model because, like, he works really hard and he's really good at what he does. And the thing that I admire most about my dad is how he can make the best of any situation.
And a situation that places two powerful business minds under one roof, not to mention as life partners, could lead to challenging issues at home. Not for this family, however.
Because what we do is so tied into a larger issue that it doesn't really feel like work. So it's something that he loves, something that I love. And so even if we were to bring it home, as some people would think, it really doesn't feel like that because it's sort of like a labor of love. I mean, our kids, they get a lot from what we do in understanding about the world around them. So it's almost, for them, it's like a learning experience. So it's not really work.
And the learning and growth within Jean since her days at Cornell University is profound.
I think I've come to look at things, the subtleties of life in America for African Americans a whole lot differently than I did 26 years ago. I think I have a whole lot more respect for what it means for the suffrage of African Americans in this country because of what Tyrone does. I think perhaps if we hadn't met, I might have just continued on and not really, I mean, being aware but not really caring.
But the word caring is synonymous with Career Communications Group and Tyrone Taborn. His generous contributions to organizations, charities, and communities at large are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to making a difference in the lives of others.
Even in the island of Jamaica, not only by those of us who work very close with the Jamaican embassy, but just for giving back. I mean, to take time to give back. To one of the things that I remember him doing is bringing computers to the post office and to get them into the schools in Jamaica, so that those who were in areas that they did not have access to computers would be able to. So he has a way of giving back.
He understands the importance of giving back to his community and just being a hard worker. From my vantage point as president of the President's Roundtable, I see a lot of people with these characteristics because those are people who are in the President's Roundtable. So these are not unusual characteristics, but they're certainly important characteristics for success. He is a very humble person. His voice is a quiet but a strong one.
Tyrone is almost disarming because he is so focused and so mild-mannered, but you're talking about one of the more aggressive, assertive, bright-thinking business people in the nation. And I really appreciate his stewardship of the nation's largest set of publications dealing with highlighting and underscoring the opportunities for African Americans and Latinos in the field of engineering and aerospace.
bar none. That is a significant accomplishment, and it affects so many young people, both coming out of engineering schools and those who are already a part of the larger profession.
Despite Tyrone's humble persona, his company is very much in the public eye. CCG created the award-winning Success Through Education television series and hosts technical awareness campaigns nationwide, featuring the Black Family Network, La Familia Network, and Native American Family Journey Technology. His company also publishes the most widely read technical magazines for minorities worldwide, including Hispanic Engineer, Women of Color Magazine, U.S. Black Engineer Information Technology, and Science Spectrum. In addition, CCG has changed the science and engineering paradigm at 11 of our nation's historically black colleges and universities.
Supporting our historically black colleges and universities, as well as our Hispanic serving institutions, is probably the #1 priority, I think, for this nation. We have roughly 11 HBCUs that have accredited engineering programs. They enroll roughly 33% of all of the African American engineers in the United States. Graduate about 22, 28% of all of the African American engineers in the United States. There are over 300 accredited engineering schools, but yet that 11 are really doing a lion's share. We must make everyone aware of the importance of these institutions and the critical role they play in manpower, in integrity, in ethics. And somehow we must make people realize that an education from Morgan State University School of Engineering is just as good as any other university.
In 1984, Dr. Eugene DeLoach founded the Morgan State School of Engineering. 1 year later, Tyrone Taborn moved his company to Baltimore, and a new partnership emerged. While Tyrone was promoting young engineering careers, Dr. DeLoach was developing them. As a result, the Black Engineer of the Year Awards program and conference was created.
When we first sat down and talked about doing something along the lines of these conferences, we talked about we just wanted to do something to make these young people see what the opportunities were. And we left a meeting at the Engineering Society of Baltimore here, and he effectively said, oh, God, well, let's do it. And from there on, things happen. We never know what's locked up in that young person. It's all about, promoting the opportunities that exist for us in the 21st century for all of our young people in the country, and especially with emphasis on underrepresented minority youngsters.
If we're going to continue to be the world leader, we absolutely have to have young people who are skilled, who are trained, and can use this technology to our benefit. Now, he has done a wonderful job in forging relationships with the outside world and the military. He's a tremendous supporter of the military, and each year you will see a number of military people being recognized on his program. So what a talent, what a great man. It's almost like oftentimes we would say, if all of us can save one person or one youth, then we can make a difference. And when you look at his program, it's no longer one. I mean, he's now talking about hundreds.
I want to one day have my own magazine, and being able to see what he does with the company here, being able to just stop by after work hours and ask him some questions. So he, I think, sparked a leader within myself, an entrepreneur as well, and one day I hope to follow within his footsteps.
Earlier this year, Tyrone's unselfish dedication to the science and technology leaders of today and tomorrow earned him a prestigious honorary doctorate from Morgan State University. For many, the honor might be the crowning point of an illustrious career. For Dr. Taborn, however, it's just another stepping stone on the path toward greater opportunities for all.
Tyrone and I always have a conversation, and one of the prevailing themes is more is not always better, but better is always more. And when we do our business together and we look at the partnerships that we're creating, we're always looking for the quality, not the quantity.
It's wonderful for me to go on the internet and Google Black Family Technology Awareness Week or to Google La Familia and see that they have activities in Brazil, in Latin America, in Africa, in Europe, in Canada. that people are doing these things and they have their own websites, and I say, wow. And you know what's so wonderful about it? Nobody even knows. They don't have to know Tyrone Taborn thought of it. When they have their activities, it's not about Career Communications Group, and people aren't saying Tyrone Taborn created this. But it's that local NAACP. It's that local Girls and Boys Club. It's their program. And it's them, and it is that group empowering themselves. And that excites me so much, to be at the birth of a movement, of a change, of people getting it, of that moment of enlightenment. That's a legacy behind my kids that I'm proud to leave behind.
And the Baltimore Marketing Association is proud to present the prestigious 2005 Henry G. Parks Jr. Business Award to Dr. Tyrone D. Taborn.